Coming up, does this Speedmaster homage scratch the Omega itch? Let's find out.
You know what you're gonna be? Blasted.
Hello and welcome back to Automatic Reviews. I'm Mark. This week's review is the Pagani design PD-1701 Moonwatch V6 in white. This is my first Pagani design, guys, and I'll say right off the bat, I'm beginning to understand why their watches create so much debate in the forums. We'll get to that in detail in just a moment, but before we continue, I just want to mention to those of you who are new to the channel that my goal around here is to review the best watches at all price ranges, and if that sounds good to you, consider hitting that subscribe button. And while you're at it, also hit that little bell icon so you'll be notified each week when a new video goes up. I should also mention that while this review wasn't sponsored, even if it was, I'll always tell you what I really think. Now let's take a look at this watch. Here's a quick look at the unboxing experience. The watch comes packaged in this dark blue Pagani design branded box. When you slide it open, you find a Pagani design microfiber cloth and a piece of foam. Removing that, you'll find the watch wedged protectively into some foam packaging. Attached to the watch is a retail style hang tag. Also included is a booklet featuring operating instructions as well as warranty information. Pagani design offers a 1-year warranty. The stainless steel case and bracelet feature a mixture of brushing and polishing. This watch is 42.2 millimeters across and 14.1 millimeters thick. Lug to lug, it's 48 millimeters, and the lug width is 20 millimeters. It has a screw-down case back with a, dare I say it, cute space scene etched into it. It also has a screw-down signed crown flanked by chronograph pushers on either side with polished ends. Running the show is the reliable Seiko VK63 Mecha Quartz chronograph movement, with an expected battery life of 2 to 3 years. The watch features some lume components. Here's a quick lume shot. The silvery white dial is almost pearlescent and features a stepped appearance toward the outer edge. The indices are black batons with a small lumed section. The hour and minute hands are black lumed narrow swords, and the main chronograph hand is a lumed arrow with a red tip. The dial printing is flat and unremarkable, but at the same time very cleanly applied. There are 3 subdials featuring a spiral texture. At the left is a chronograph minute counter. It totals up to 60 minutes, so this chronograph does have its limits. The center dial is simply the running seconds of the watch, with a very quartzy once per second tick. On the right is the dreaded 24-hour dial, for those working on submarines or in mines. The crystal covering all this up is a box sapphire with some kind of AR coating. Surrounding the crystal is the tachymeter bezel, which is made of ceramic and features etched and painted numerals. Water resistance is 100 meters. The bracelet is a brushed and polished tapering 5-link design with fully articulated links as well as solid end links. Adjustments are accomplished via a pin-based system. The clasp is a milled push-button design, which is signed and features a spring bar-based micro-adjustment system with 3 holes for adjustment. Here it is on my flat profile 7-inch wrist. Adjusted for me, it weighs 137 grams. This watch retails for about 109 Canadian or about 77 US dollars. But as with all watches available on AliExpress, you can get discounts during sales. I got this one for about 96 Canadian dollars, which is about 67 US dollars. This bracelet is a real mixed bag for me. On the one hand, this watch sells for less than $100, and it's only reasonable to expect that there will be limits to what they can offer as far as a bracelet is concerned. Despite that, they offer features that Seiko fails to offer for 5 times the money. This includes high-quality, fully articulated links, solid end links, and a milled clasp. Though the goofy diving extension is one feature I wish they'd left out. On the other hand, it's not a lack of features that sinks this bracelet for me. I can live with a pin-based adjustment system for this price, for example, but it's the actual link finishing here where I draw the line. I know finishing can be expensive, but this bracelet seems to have been designed to zest lemons with. I mean that literally. You can literally zest lemons with it. I mean, here you go. The bracelet isn't sharp enough to actually cut you or a loved one, but the best way I can describe it is it's the tactile equivalent of fingernails on a chalkboard to me. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have had a significant complaint about the bracelet. It's a shame. I think it would have been better to charge like $20 more for this watch and actually finish the bracelet properly. I think it would have made a huge difference. This watch features a 24-hour subdial. It's not my first watch that features this relatively useless function, and it probably won't be my last, but it deserves a mention. What a weird complication. If you don't know if it's day or night, you probably work in a very specialized field, or you really need to open the blinds more often. I wish this subdial was put to better use, indicating the accumulated chronograph hours. Instead, once the minute subdial reaches 60, the whole thing resets. It's kind of a waste. This watch is thick, certainly too thick to be Moonwatch-like, and just a bit too thick for this design in general. At over 14mm, this watch is unnecessarily chunky. This watch has some badly applied indices, particularly the 9 o'clock. It's simply just poor craftsmanship. On the other hand, this watch is pretty cleanly constructed otherwise, so it's a mixed showing. Seems like if they wanted to, they could have done better. Like the bracelet, the dial could be receiving a lot of praise from me, but ends up falling short instead. On the good end of the spectrum, they avoided making any truly silly design choices like excessive text or utilizing a poor layout. It's pretty clean and it benefits from borrowing some of the styling cues from the legendary Moonwatch itself. But it also has a look that no other AliExpress watch that I reviewed has had before. The large Pagani design branding, the sort of heavy-handed dial construction, and careless execution, to my eye it screams bargain watch. Given how inexpensive they were when I first ordered an AliExpress watch, I expected them to give off a more clumsy vibe and reek of being built to a budget. I was totally wrong. Chinese watches often stand out as being really tasteful creations that defy their price tags. This dial fails to do that. To my eye, it looks like a budget watch. This watch is ultra affordable, but I just don't think a 12-month warranty is reasonable at this point, regardless of price. It seems like a warranty long enough to cover lemons, but not long enough to sort out any other short-term issues. I think it's time to bump that warranty up to 2 years, Pagani design. This watch is a homage. Some people seek them out, some people abhor them. I actually don't think this watch resembles a Speedmaster all that much, more on that later, but I do think that anyone who's into watches will know that emulating the Speedmaster was their goal. That will either please you or irritate you. So it's a mid. They sell this watch as white, but it's more of a silver or a pearl color. Many won't mind, myself included I suppose, so it's more of a mid, but it's just odd. Why not just name it silver or make a white one? I rather like the caseback on this one. It features a pleasant little space-themed etching. Sure, it makes zero sense because this Moonwatch has no actual connections to space, but hey, it's decently executed and definitely fun. I think more brands could consider having a bit of fun with their casebacks. We rarely see them, but when we do, I think it'd be nice if they gave us something worth looking at. Not many actual Speedmasters have a ceramic bezel. That said, despite complaining by some, I think that has more to do with maintaining a vintage aesthetic. In this case though, this watch is less than $100 and has this pretty premium feature. Impressive. When you put a box sapphire over a dark dial, it creates a milky white circle around the outside of the dial. This watch, much like the actual white Speedmaster, benefits from how low contrast the sapphire halo is against the dial. I definitely like that. So I created this split screen to try to recreate what it's like to have these two watches in front of you in real life. They are different colors, but I don't own the white Speedmaster, so let's use our imagination. The dial features don't line up perfectly, but you can clearly see what Pagani design was attempting to accomplish here. This watch was designed to be a Speedmaster homage, and as far as that goes, I don't really think it succeeds. The subdials have generally different or relocated functions, and that doesn't really bother me, but they're also quite different aesthetically than the Speedmasters in an unpleasant way. I like when a homage isn't just a copy and paste job from a famous watch, but perhaps Pagani design could have tried a little harder to understand what makes the Speedmaster design so iconic and easy on the eyes. Overall, the Pagani design Moonwatch is too chunky and just lacks that cool factor. That's not always the case with homage watches. When I talked about the ML08, a Hamilton Murph homage by Militato, I did suggest they may have copied Hamilton's homework a little too closely, and that Hamilton was offering a more refined and better spec'd package. But what I never called into question was the ML08's cool factor. That's what's missing here. If you're going to do a homage, you have to capture some of the cool. Otherwise, what's the point? This watch has some technical similarities to a Moonwatch, but it lacks any of its charm. So, I started with a question. Does this Speedmaster homage scratch the Omega itch? The answer for me is absolutely not. This watch lacks the charm of the original Moonwatch pretty much entirely. It's got numerous flaws from its chunky profile, crooked indices, and that lemon zester bracelet, but for under $100, we can't expect perfection. This watch isn't a ripoff. You do get what you pay for here, but just not anything more than that. That said, we can expect a lot more. Brands like Militato, Watch Dives, Tandorio, San Martin, and Addy's Dive, just to name a few, have shown us that even when spending really modest sums of money, we can be surprised and delighted and even excited about what we get. This watch fails to deliver the Omega experience. It's 1% of the cost of the Omega, so that's not really surprising. But it also fails to deliver an experience that's on par with its peers. This was my first time trying a Pagani design watch, and overall, I'd have to say it hasn't left a very good impression. But if you do love the Moonwatch, I think the only sure way to truly experience one is to save up and pick one up either new or used. But they are quite expensive, so that said, there are some other options which will come closer than this Pagani design. You could always shell out for the Moonswatch, and while the quality won't blow your mind, and they are quite pricey for what you get, you do get to experience that classic aesthetic. Or if you want a really well-made watch with some genuine moon credentials, you could find a Bull of a Lunar Pilot used or on sale. That would be my choice. All right, what about you guys? Do you like this watch? Do you want one? Do you have one? What have your experiences been like with Pagani design? I want to hear about it. I think I need some, I need some feedback on this because this wasn't a good start for me, but there's so many people who love them, so I do want to continue to be open to reviewing them in the future. So give me some reassurance. Do you have any good experiences? Or if you have some bad experiences, share those too. I mean, we don't filter anything here, right? So let's hear it all. All right. So that's it. That's all. Be sure to check the description for any relevant links, like where to find the creator of my theme song, Derelict. Until next time, bye-bye.